There are moments in life when silence speaks louder than words, when the ache in your heart longs not for answers, but for reassurance. If you've ever felt tired of carrying it all, if your soul is searching for something deeper, then this video was meant for you. What you're about to hear isn't just encouragement, it's a conversation, a sacred invitation to rest, to heal, to be reminded that God has never stopped speaking to you. So find a quiet place, breathe deeply, and allow every word to settle in your spirit. This is not just a message. This is your moment.
My beloved, let your heart be still for a moment. The world has spoken enough. Now let me speak to you. You did not stumble upon these words by accident. I have brought you here because I've been watching over you with a love deeper than the ocean and a patience wider than the heavens. You've been carrying burdens too heavy for your soul. Quietly, faithfully, you've been trying to hold everything together. And even though you smile on the outside, I see the weight that presses on your heart when no one else is looking. I know that lately you've wondered if I still hear you, if your prayers have lost their way in the noise of life. But listen now, I have not turned away. Every whispered plea, every tear fallen in silence, I have gathered them like precious pearls. Nothing about you escapes my notice. I know you are weary. I see how you've tried to fix things on your own, to stay strong for everyone around you, to suppress your pain and keep going even when your spirit longs for rest. You've asked yourself if things will ever change, if you'll ever feel joy that isn't fleeting or peace that doesn't break under the pressure of the world. And now, in this sacred moment between us, I want you to know, yes, you will, because I am with you, not in some distant way that demands perfection or religious formality. No, I am near, in the quiet of your thoughts, in the stillness between heartbeats, in the breath that fills your lungs right now. That breath is a gift, a sign that my purpose for your life continues. You've been through things you never told anyone. And even when people noticed your pain, they didn't always understand it. But I did. When others walked away, I stayed. When your heart broke, I sat beside you in the silence. Even when you thought I was silent, I was working behind the scenes, turning what was meant to harm you into something that would eventually raise you up stronger. You may not see the full picture yet, but trust me, your life is not a random collection of events. I have been guiding your steps with tenderness, even in the moments that felt like chaos. What you thought were detours were divine redirections. Yes, you've made mistakes, many of them. You've fallen, doubted, gotten lost. But still, I chose you, and I am choosing you again right now. Not because you've done everything right, but because I see the sincerity of your heart. I see the way you want to be better, the way you try, even when no one notices your effort. I see the regret that lingers in your eyes and the desire to be healed from things you no longer speak of. And let me tell you this, I do not condemn you. I do not shame you. I offer you restoration, not a second chance, but something greater, a new beginning, shaped by my mercy, not your mistakes. You've believed the lie that your value is based on your performance, that if you mess up too many times, I'll give up on you. But that is not how I love. My love is not a reward. It is a constant. It is the most unshakable truth of your life. Even when you turned away from me, even when you forgot my promises, I remained. And now I want you to know that I am blessing you, not because you've earned it, but because I want you to experience how deeply loved you are. Yes, I am blessing you with peace that surpasses understanding, with strength that rises in weakness, with wisdom that lights the path when the road seems dark. You are not invisible to me. You are not too broken. You are not too far gone. You are not defined by the things you lost or the people who left. I see your potential, your dreams, the spark in your soul that refuses to die, even when life has tried to extinguish it. That spark, I placed it there. It is your calling, your identity, the reminder that you were created for more than just survival. I did not form you in the secret place just so you could live a life of constant fear and doubt. I created you to reflect my glory, to walk in freedom, to live with purpose. You may have forgotten me at times, but I never forgot you. You may have felt alone, but I was never absent. Even in the valley, even in the storm, I was there, closer than your skin, speaking to your spirit even when your heart was too tired to hear. And now, I want to awaken something within you, a faith that rises, courage that stays, a joy that returns. I am bringing you into a new season. You've walked through the fire, but you will not smell like smoke. You've wandered through the wilderness, but I am leading you into promise. You've wept at midnight, but joy is coming with the morning. The very things that tried to destroy you will become testimonies of my power in your life. The closed doors that left you heartbroken will soon make sense, because I am about to open better ones, doors no one can shut. But before I lead you further, I need something from you. I need you to trust me, not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. I need you to stop holding on to fear like it's your safety net. I need you to stop measuring your worth by how others see you or how much you've accomplished. Let go of the shame, the guilt, the bitterness. Give me the space to rewrite your story. Give me your wounds so I can heal them. Give me your dreams so I can revive them. You don't have to fix everything. You just have to be willing. Come closer now. Don't run from this moment. Feel my presence. It's real. Let your heart soften and your mind settle. I am not disappointed in you. I am calling you to rise. Not with your own strength, but with mine. I will be the one to lift you, guide you, sustain you. And as you surrender, you will begin to feel it. The weight lifting, the light returning, the hope blooming again. This is not the end. It's the turning point, the moment where everything begins to change. Stay with me. Walk with me. The journey ahead is filled with wonder. And I promise, you won't walk it alone. There's something I want you to understand. Something I need you to carry with you like breath in your lungs. You were not made to walk alone. The weight of the world was never meant to rest on your shoulders. And yet, I see how often you try to carry it anyway. You take on more than your heart can hold, hoping that if you just do enough, give enough, smile enough, it will be okay. But beloved, you don't have to earn peace. You don't have to prove yourself worthy of love. You already are. You always have been. You keep looking at your reflection and wondering if you're enough, if you're strong enough, holy enough, brave enough. Let me answer you clearly now. Yes. Not because of your accomplishments or what others say about you, but because I created you in love, for love. And my love does not expire when you fail. It does not wither when you struggle. It only grows deeper. I've seen every version of you, the weeping one, the joyful one, the angry, the tired, the hopeful, the broken, and I have loved you in each one. Even when others misjudged you, misunderstood you, or measured you unfairly, I stood as your defender. My love is not based on perception. It is based on truth. And the truth is, you are mine. My hands formed your soul with intention. My voice spoke your name before the world ever did. And long before you were told you had to be perfect to be accepted, I had already called you worthy. Now it's time to heal. I see the memories you still carry. Moments that replay in your mind when you're trying to sleep, decisions you regret, words spoken in pain or silence held in fear. You've spent too long reliving the past, blaming yourself, wishing you could go back and fix things. But hear me, you are not your mistakes. The past is not your home. I am not the voice of condemnation echoing in your head. I am the voice of mercy calling you forward. You've looked at your life and wondered if you've missed your moment, if maybe your best days are already behind you. But you haven't even begun to see what I have planned. I specialize in resurrection. I make beauty from ashes, strength from sorrow, glory from grief. Your story isn't over because you're still breathing. And as long as you are, I am still writing page after page, chapter after chapter. Don't close the book just because this part hurts. Let me show you what happens next. There's a new light coming to your life. Not the kind that flickers with changing circumstances, but the kind that stays even when everything else fades. I want to fill you with peace that doesn't need answers to exist. I want to clothe you in joy that isn't dependent on what's going right. I want to remind you that you are stronger than you think. Not because you haven't been wounded, but because you're still here, still standing, still holding on to faith even when it's just by a thread. And you're not standing by accident. I've placed you where you are for a reason. Even when it feels like no one sees your value, I do. I see your compassion, the kindness you give when no one's watching, The way you lift others even when your own heart is heavy. That unseen goodness? It matters more than you know. It builds a foundation of light that cannot be shaken. I know the seeds you've planted in silence, the prayers whispered over your children, the quiet help you've offered to those in need, the moments you chose love over revenge, grace over anger. I saw it all, and I am the one who will cause those seeds to bloom. But remember this, too. Not everyone in your life is meant to go where I'm leading you. I will surround you with people who push you toward light, who speak life into your soul, who celebrate your growth and correct you with gentleness. But I will also remove those who secretly hope for your downfall, who drain your energy, who plant seeds of doubt where I have spoken truth. Don't be afraid of these separations. They are not losses. They are divine protections. You've spent so much time trying to keep the peace with people who only bring storms. It's time to let go of relationships that only survive when you shrink yourself to fit their comfort. I did not design you to be small. I made you to rise. I made you to carry love like a torch in a dark world, not to dim your flame so others won't feel threatened. Walk away from anything that forces you to pretend. Be bold in the light I've placed within you. And when you feel lonely in your honesty, remember, I am with you, always. I am bringing restoration not just in what you've lost, but in how you see yourself. You're not broken beyond repair. You're not too late or too far gone. What the enemy called your end, I am turning into your elevation. What the world called weakness, I am using as your weapon. What seemed like delay was my preparation. I have not forgotten a single promise. Every vision I planted in your soul, every dream you thought had died, I remember them all, and I still intend to fulfill them. But first, I need your trust. Not the kind that only lasts when everything is going right. I need the kind of trust that lifts your eyes when there's nothing left to see but me. The kind of trust that surrenders the illusion of control and says, even if I don't understand, I will still follow. That trust will unlock the next door in your life. That faith will make the mountains move. That surrender will make the impossible begin to shift in your favor. I know it's hard to let go. I know how much you want answers, control, reassurance. But what I offer is better. I offer myself. I offer peace in the questions, strength in the waiting, joy in the unknown. I offer my presence, constant and unfailing. I offer promises that do not return void. And if you'll take my hand, if you'll allow yourself to rest in me, you will begin to see everything differently. Not because life gets easier, but because you'll finally understand. I am enough. You are never alone. You never have been. Even when you couldn't feel me, I was carrying you. And now I'm asking you to walk with me. Not because you have it all figured out, but because I already do. The path ahead won't be without challenge, but it will be full of purpose. And you will never again walk through darkness without light. Because I am here, and I'm not going anywhere. My child, I see how much you've tried. Even when your efforts went unnoticed by others, even when your kindness was met with indifference, and your generosity was misunderstood, I saw it all. Not a single act of love, no matter how small, has been forgotten by me. In fact, it's in those quiet moments, when you chose to do good though no one was watching, that your soul reflected my image the clearest. And now, in this sacred space between us, I want to speak something new into your life. A truth not born from fear, but from love. A love that never leaves, never falters, never grows cold. You've lived long enough feeling like you had to earn your worth, like you needed to keep proving yourself so that someone, anyone, would finally say, you are enough. But let me say it now in the only way that truly matters. You are enough not because you are flawless, but because I am. You were not created to live for the approval of the world. You were created to walk in the assurance of my love. And that love is not seasonal. It doesn't change with your mood, your mistakes, or your confusion. It remains, like the stars that never stop shining even when clouds hide them from your view. I know how hard it is for you to let go of the things that hurt you. You keep rehearsing conversations from the past, replaying pain like it will somehow make sense if you hold on to it long enough. But that wound in your heart, that ache that lingers when the room goes quiet, I want to heal it, not cover it, Not ignore it, but truly, deeply heal it. You've carried that pain for so long it started to feel like part of your identity. But you were never meant to live inside the echo of old heartbreaks. You are not the voice of that betrayal. You are not the result of what they did to you. You are mine. Come closer to me now. There's no need to pretend you're stronger than you feel. You can rest your soul here in this place of safety. You don't have to wear the mask that life has forced upon you. You can be honest with me completely. There is no fear in my presence. No shame. Only light. Only truth. Only mercy. You've been craving peace, searching for it in so many places. People, achievements, approval, distraction. But peace is not found in any of those things. Peace is found in me, and I am already here, within reach of your breath, waiting for you to simply be still long enough to receive it. I'm not angry at you. I'm not keeping score of your failures. I know there are things you wish you could undo, moments you wish you could erase. But listen to me carefully, your past is not a prison. It's a pathway. Even your greatest regrets are being used to lead you into grace. The mistakes that haunt you are not proof of your weakness. They are reminders that you need me, and needing me is not a flaw. It's your greatest strength. I don't love you despite your brokenness. I love you through it, in it, and beyond it, and I will never stop. You may feel lost right now, uncertain of your next step, unsure of who you are becoming. That's okay. You're not lost to me, even when you can't see the way I see you. Even when your path feels hidden, I know every turn. I am not confused about your direction. I hold the map. I see the destination. And though the road feels long, I promise it leads to hope. I haven't forgotten the dreams I placed in your heart, even if you've buried them beneath disappointment. Let me breathe life into them again. Let me show you that nothing is wasted. Not the detours, not the delays, not even the heartbreaks. But to move forward, you must loosen your grip on what you've outgrown. Some of the people, habits, and mindsets that once felt necessary are now only holding you back. I know change is scary. I know comfort is easy. But growth, real, holy, beautiful growth, requires release. It requires you to open your hands and trust that what I place in them next will be better than what you're letting go. Trust me when I say, what is coming is far greater than what was. You don't have to understand it all right now. You just have to be willing to follow. You've wondered, at times, whether you truly have a purpose. If your life really matters in the grand scheme of the world. But let me remind you, your existence is not accidental. You are not here by coincidence. Every breath you take echoes my intention. Every heartbeat declares that you are chosen. You may not be famous, but your life impacts more people than you realize. Your quiet perseverance inspires. Your words bring healing. Your prayers shift atmospheres. You are a light in this world. Even when you feel like you're still learning how to shine, there is still so much ahead for you. So much joy you haven't felt. So much peace you haven't tasted. So many moments of laughter, healing, and transformation waiting to unfold. You haven't missed your chance. You haven't disqualified yourself. You haven't been forgotten. Your best days are not behind you. They are being prepared even now. But I need you to believe again. Believe that I'm working even when you can't see it. Believe that your faith is not foolish. Believe that your life has meaning, and that you are deeply, fiercely, eternally loved. I will never tire of reminding you. I will never stop whispering hope into the corners of your mind when doubt creeps in. I will never grow weary of carrying you when your legs fail beneath the weight of sorrow. I will never give up on you, ever. My promises don't expire, and my grace is not reserved for those who have it all together. It's for the ones who fall and get up again. The ones who doubt but still dare to believe. The ones who feel empty yet still whisper prayers into the night. That's you, and I'm proud of you. Yes, proud. You may not hear that often, but I want you to. I am proud of how you've endured. Proud of how you've kept going. Proud of how you've chosen kindness in a world that often doesn't reward it. Proud of how you've kept seeking me, even when your faith felt fragile. Don't let the enemy convince you that your progress is insignificant. Every step toward me is a victory. Every decision to love, to forgive, to try again. It matters. And so, my beloved, lift your head. Breathe in the grace I'm offering. Let go of yesterday's weight. Let your heart believe again. Not just in me, but in the future I've promised you. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not too late. This is the moment. This is the turning point. Let the healing begin, and walk with me into everything I have prepared for you. Your story is unfolding beautifully, and I, the author, have only just begun. Come closer, my precious child. Let every fear, every doubt, every lingering shadow in your heart fade in the warmth of my presence. I know what the world has told you. I know the lies whispered to you in moments of weakness, the voices that said you're not good enough, not smart enough, not holy enough. But I want to show you a truth that shatters every lie. You are not what they said. You are not what your failures claimed. You are not the mistakes you regret. You are who I say you are, chosen, cherished, forgiven, and destined. I know how hard it is to believe in your worth when the weight of shame clings so tightly. You replay your missteps, your words you wish you hadn't spoken, the times you walked away when you should have stayed, or stayed when you should have walked away. But my grace does not keep score. My love doesn't retract itself because of your flaws. It holds you tighter, covers your scars. You are not disqualified by your past. In fact, I am using it to shape something beautiful in you. Those moments you thought were your ruin, I am turning them into sacred stepping stones that carry you toward a life of meaning and wholeness. You think I've been silent, but I've been speaking, just not always in the ways you expected. My voice lives in the stillness, in the peace that settles unexpectedly in your chest, in the tears that fall as prayers when words fail you. My hand is in the delays that protected you from harm you didn't even know was coming. My mercy is woven into the no's that saved you from settling for something less than my best. And now, as I draw near to you again, I want you to trust me not just with the future, but with your healing. There are wounds in you that go deeper than you've admitted. Some hurts that were buried so long ago you've forgotten how they began. But I haven't. I've watched you try to carry them alone, smiling through pain, pretending it didn't matter when it did. You've convinced yourself that time would fix it. But time does not heal what only my love can reach. And now I'm reaching into the parts of you you've hidden, into the pieces of your heart you thought no one would understand. I understand, and I am not here to criticize you. I'm here to restore you. You were never meant to be defined by your brokenness. You were meant to be refined through it. There is a strength in you that's growing in silence, a fire that's rising in your soul, not born from pride or ambition, but from deep, holy surrender. You have been through storms, but you are not drowning. You have walked through fire, but you are not burned. I have carried you every step, and now I am preparing to do something new. Let me show you what happens when you stop hiding your pain from me and start placing it in my hands. That guilt you've carried, it will turn into wisdom. That sadness that has lingered too long, it will be transformed into compassion. That fear that keeps you awake at night, I will use it to birth a deeper faith. I do not waste anything. I redeem everything. And you, my beloved, are about to rise. But I need your trust. I need your willingness to let go not just of the pain, but of the identity you've built around it. You've seen yourself through the lens of failure, of comparison, of shame. I want to give you new eyes. Eyes that see yourself the way I see you. Eyes that no longer measure worth by performance, but by presence, my presence within you. When you see yourself through my gaze, you will no longer be bound by the world's definitions. You will walk in the boldness of your calling, because you'll finally know you were never meant to blend in. You were made to stand out. Do not be afraid of standing alone. Sometimes I remove people from your life not to punish you, but to protect you. There are seasons where isolation becomes revelation, where solitude becomes sacred. When you feel misunderstood, remember this. I understand you perfectly, and while others may misread your motives, I know your heart. Trust the pruning process. The relationships that remain are the ones I will use to build and bless you. But the ones I remove, let them go. I know what you need, and I know who will walk with you into what's coming next. There is a door opening before you, not a physical one, but a spiritual door. a threshold between the old version of your life and the new chapter I've written. Don't let fear hold you back from stepping into it. The past may have taught you to expect disappointment, to lower your expectations so you don't get hurt. But I am not like those who broke your trust. I am faithful. When I say I will make a way, I mean it. When I say I have a plan, it's not vague. It's exact, intentional, and filled with grace. You will not miss what's meant for you. Not as long as your heart stays open. Not as long as your soul remains connected to me. I'm asking you to let go of your timeline, your conditions, your need to control. Let me be your guide, your healer, your provider. Let me be the one who carries the burdens too heavy for your arms. Your strength isn't measured by how much you can carry, but by how much you can release into my hands. Rest now. Not just physical rest, but soul rest. Lay down the expectations, the what-ifs, the questions without answers. You were not created to live in anxiety. You were not created to constantly fight your way through life. You were created to walk in the rhythm of grace, to move through life with peace in your chest and purpose in your steps. And that is exactly what I am calling you into now. A deeper walk, a steadier pace, a life no longer dictated by survival, but shaped by trust. You're not here by accident. You're not reading this by chance. This is my invitation to begin again, to believe again, to rise not by your strength but by mine. You've come through enough to know that I am not a distant figure in the sky. I am your father, your shepherd, your healer, your companion, and I'm not going anywhere. I am not done with you. In fact, I am just beginning. And if you let me lead, what's ahead will not compare to what's behind. Take a deep breath, my child. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are right on time and right where I need you to be. Your healing is happening. Your strength is returning. And your heart is safe here with me. Beloved, listen closely now, for what I am about to whisper into your spirit is not only truth, it is freedom. You've carried too many questions for too long, questions that haunt you when the world goes quiet. Questions about your purpose, your path, your worth. Questions about whether the pain you've walked through will ever lead to something beautiful. And I tell you this with the fullness of my heart. Yes, it will. Nothing you have endured is without value in my hands. Not a single tear has fallen unnoticed. Not a single silent prayer has been lost. I have stored every one, and I am preparing to return them as blessings beyond what your mind has dared to imagine. You've been fighting battles no one knows about, wearing a smile while your heart is trembling inside. And I see it. I see how hard you try to be strong for everyone else. How often you push down your own needs so that others don't feel burdened by your pain. But I want you to understand something sacred now. You were never meant to be strong alone. My strength is not just available, it is promised. When your heart is weary, I do not ask you to press forward without rest. I invite you to lean on me, not for a moment, but for as long as you need. Do not mistake stillness for weakness. Do not confuse surrender with defeat. When you lay your burdens down at my feet, you are not giving up. You are giving me room to act. Some things in your life have not shifted yet, not because I am withholding, but because I am waiting for you to let go. You've asked me to move mountains while holding onto the shovel, digging furiously in your own strength. I admire your perseverance, but I need you to trust my timing. The miracle doesn't come from your effort, it flows from your surrender. And while you wait, I am working. Though you cannot see the roots beneath the soil, I am cultivating new life. I am healing what was broken, restoring what was stolen, redeeming what seemed ruined. You thought your delay was a denial, but it has only ever been preparation. You're not stuck, you're being positioned to receive not only what you've hoped for, but what you never thought possible. You've prayed for change. Now prepare your heart for transformation. And yes, there will be days when you are tempted to doubt. Days when your progress feels invisible, when discouragement creeps in and tries to convince you to give up. But I am here on those days especially. I never grow weary of reminding you who you are. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are not your setbacks. You are mine. And because you are mine, you are secure. There is no situation too tangled for me to unravel. No wound too deep for me to heal. No dream too lost for me to resurrect. Your life may not look how you thought it would. Some doors closed that you prayed would stay open. Some people left who you thought would remain. But none of these changes have caught me off guard. I am not shaken by endings. I am the author of new beginnings. You are not walking in failure. You are walking through formation. I am shaping you into someone stronger, softer, wiser, and more radiant than you've ever been. Do not mourn what has ended too long, for what I am about to do will make you grateful that some things were removed. I do not prune you to punish you. I prune you to make room for more fruit. There's something holy about the way you've kept going. You don't realize it, but your faith, even when fragile, has moved mountains in the unseen. Every time you whispered a prayer instead of giving up, I was there, wrapping my arms around your weary soul. Every time you chose forgiveness when bitterness felt easier, heaven rejoiced. You've planted seeds of righteousness in dry seasons, and I promise you, your harvest is coming. Not because you've been perfect, but because you've been faithful. There is a season of peace ahead of you, a season not without challenges, but filled with clarity. A time when the confusion in your mind will give way to understanding, when the restlessness in your spirit will settle into holy stillness. You will wake up not dreading the day, but embracing it. You will walk into rooms no longer afraid of rejection, but filled with confidence. Not because your circumstances are perfect, but because you are walking in the assurance of my presence. And oh, how beautiful that presence is. I am not a faraway deity, demanding unreachable standards. I am near, closer than your breath, more present than your pain. I live not in buildings or ceremonies, but in you. When you feel love stirring in your soul, when a quiet peace covers you in the middle of chaos, that is me. I am not waiting for you to be less messy. I am stepping into your mess to show you what redemption really looks like. I love you not because you are without sin, but because my grace is greater than every failure. You could never outrun my love. You could never fall so far that I stop reaching for you. I have written your name on my heart, and even if you turned your back and walked away, I would still pursue you, not with judgment, but with relentless mercy. I have not given up on you, and I never will. Let today be a turning point, not because something magical happens, but because your heart finally decides to trust again. Trust that I am good. Trust that I have not abandoned you. Trust that the best parts of your story have not been lived yet. Trust that you are not too late, not too broken, not too far gone. Just as the dawn always returns after the darkest night, joy will return to your life. Laughter will rise again from the ashes of sorrow, and purpose will spring up from the ground where you once felt buried. Take my hand now. No more looking back. No more rehearsing old wounds. No more shrinking into the shadows of who you used to be. Rise, my child, not by the world's standards, but by the light I placed in you. Walk into the rest of your life knowing that you are held, you are guided, and you are loved more than words could ever say. The journey ahead is filled with glory, not because it will be easy, but because I will be with you through every step. So breathe deep, lift your head, open your heart wide to the blessings I have prepared. You're not at the end, you're standing at the edge of something sacred. And I, your Father, am walking right beside you. Come now, beloved one, draw near again. Don't rush through this moment. The world demands your attention constantly, pulling you in 1,000 directions. But right now, be still. Let your soul catch its breath. Let your heart return to the rhythm of grace. You weren't made to live in a constant state of survival, pushing through exhaustion just to reach another day. You were made for peace, real, lasting, soul-deep peace. And I, your Father, have not forgotten how to lead you into it. You've been through so much. You've endured what others didn't see, fought silent battles, wiped your own tears, and still managed to love, to hope, to rise again. That is not weakness. That is courage. And I have been with you through it all. You may not have felt me in every moment, but I never left your side. When your hands trembled in fear, I steadied them. When your voice shook in prayer, I listened with all of heaven. When you cried alone in the dark, I caught every tear as if it were a treasure. because to me you are. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not less than. You are not too far gone. My eyes have always been on you, not watching with scrutiny, but with tender love. I know when your soul is tired, when your hope flickers like a dying flame, when your trust is barely holding on, and I am not disappointed in you for it. I know what this world does to a heart that tries to stay soft. I know how heavy the weight of unmet expectations can be, but I also know how to rebuild what life tried to break. And I will rebuild you. Let go of the idea that you have to be whole before coming to me. I do my best work with broken pieces. In fact, it's in your brokenness that I draw closest. Not because I enjoy your pain, but because I delight in showing you that there's no wound too deep for my healing. Others may have walked away when you showed your scars. I never will. I don't require perfection. I only ask for honesty. Bring me your fears, your regrets, your weariness. I can carry what you cannot. I know how hard it is for you to release control. You've been taught to be strong, to hold it together, to never let your weakness show. But I never asked you to be self-sufficient. I asked you to be surrendered. Your strength is not measured by how much you can endure alone. It's measured by how fully you allow me to carry you when you are weary. And I am not burdened by your need. I rejoice in your dependence because it means we are walking together, not apart. Stop comparing your journey to anyone else's. What I am doing in your life is sacred and unique. You are not late. You are not behind. You are right on time for the miracles I have prepared. It may feel like others are moving faster, achieving more, being noticed while you are being overlooked. But trust me, what is built in silence, in patience, in surrender, is what lasts. I am not raising you to rise quickly. I am raising you to rise deeply. Roots first, then branches, then fruit. Don't envy what appears prosperous but has no foundation. What I am building in you will withstand every storm. I've seen the times you've wanted to give up, not just on dreams, but on yourself. But something in you kept going. That something? It was me. It was the spark of my spirit in you, refusing to let you sink beneath the surface. And now I am calling that spark into flame. I am awakening what has slept. I am stirring up the courage that trauma tried to silence. I am reminding your heart of what it once believed, that life can be beautiful again. You've lived long enough shrinking to fit spaces that were never meant for you, trying to be small so others feel comfortable, trying to meet expectations that never aligned with your calling. But no more. I didn't place you on this earth to be invisible. I placed you here to shine, not with arrogance but with authenticity. You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to carry the fear of being too much or not enough. You are exactly who I made you to be. Every flaw, every strength, every detail, I shaped them on purpose. Let me speak life into your identity again. You are not just surviving, you are rising. You are not defined by what they said, you are defined by what I've spoken over you. And what I speak is eternal. I have called you loved, called you chosen, called you mine. I have placed within you not only potential but power. Power to love in the face of hate. Power to hope when everything feels lost. Power to stand when the winds of life try to knock you down. You are not helpless. You are held. There is still so much ahead. Don't settle for a life that feels safe but small. You were made to walk on water, to take risks that require faith, to dream in ways that make others question your sanity. Not because you want to be admired, but because you trust that I am with you in every step. Your legacy will not be built on ease, but on endurance. Not on popularity, but on purpose. And I promise you, none of your obedience will be wasted. Not one sacrifice, not one yes. Not one act of quiet faith will go unnoticed. I know it's hard to trust when you've been let down. I know you've prayed for things that didn't happen the way you hoped. But I need you to understand, my delays are never denials. Sometimes I close doors because I'm about to open something better. Sometimes I withhold to protect. Sometimes I wait, not because I'm absent, but because I'm arranging details that will align perfectly when the time is right. Trust in the waiting. I am never late. My timing carries your breakthrough. So breathe, my child. Rest your weary soul. The world can wait. Let your heart hear this clearly. You are seen, you are known, and you are loved. Nothing can separate you from my grace. Not time, not failure, not fear. I am not just your creator. I am your companion. I walk with you, cry with you, celebrate with you. I do not expect perfection. I simply desire your heart. The best is not behind you. It is ahead. Do not lose heart. Do not grow weary in doing good. You will reap in due season, and that season is closer than you think. Stay with me, abide in me, and you will bear fruit that remains, not just in your life, but in the lives of everyone you touch. You are a light in this world, and I will not let that light go out. You're here again, and that means something. It means you haven't given up. It means something inside of you still believes, even if just a flicker, that there's more to your story than what you've seen so far. And you're right, there is more. There's a life waiting for you beyond the limits of what fear has allowed you to imagine. I'm not calling you to live cautiously. I'm calling you to live courageously. And courage, my beloved, isn't the absence of fear. It's trusting me even when your knees are trembling and your voice is unsure. You've lived long enough measuring your future through the lens of past pain. But the future I've designed for you is not a repetition of what you've been through. It's a redemption of it. You've been afraid to hope because hope has hurt before. You've dared to believe and watch things fall apart. And so now, you protect your heart with a silence that was never meant to be permanent. You tell yourself it's safer not to expect too much. But I'm here to gently pull you out of that shell. You were not created to live behind emotional walls. You were made to live free. I want to show you what freedom looks like. Not the kind the world advertises. Temporary, shallow, dependent on performance. But the kind that wraps around your soul and says, you are already enough. Freedom that says, you are not what others did to you. Freedom that says, you can release the outcome and trust that I've already gone ahead of you. When you let go of needing everything to make sense, that's when peace will begin to settle in the deepest parts of your soul. Let me carry what you cannot. Let me take the burden of perfection off your shoulders. You were never supposed to be your own savior. You were never meant to fix everyone and everything. I see how hard you try, how you wear yourself out making sure others are okay, even when you're not. You've been strong for so long that you forgot you're allowed to rest. But I remember the version of you that once laughed without fear of the future. I remember the soft places of your heart before life hardened them. And I want to bring that back, not to make you who you used to be, but to restore what was good and pure and still lives within you. You don't need to have all the answers. It's okay not to know what's next. What matters is that you know who walks beside you. I don't lead you with pressure. I lead you with peace. I don't rush you forward. I walk with you at your pace. My love is not in a hurry. My grace is not impatient. I am not waiting for you to prove yourself. I am waiting for you to trust that you don't have to. Some of the hardest things you've walked through were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to uncover you, to peel away the lies, the masks, the false identities you picked up to survive. Because underneath all of that is the person I designed you to be. You were never meant to live afraid of your own light. You were meant to shine, to be bold in kindness, powerful in compassion, and fearless in your faith. Yes, the road ahead will have valleys. There will still be days when questions rise and doubt knocks at your door. But you won't be walking through them alone. I've already placed strength within you that you didn't know existed. The kind of strength that keeps going even when no one's watching. The kind that prays even when it feels like no one's listening. The kind that gets back up after every fall. And I'm going to keep building on that. Every trial has added layers of wisdom. Every heartbreak has refined your compassion. Every setback has sharpened your resilience. You wonder if the pain will ever truly be gone. And while I may not remove every scar, I will transform how you carry them. They won't define you, they'll remind you. Not of how much you've lost, but how far you've come. Not of your failures, but of my faithfulness. What was once your breaking point will become your testimony. Others will find hope in the story you thought was over. Your healing will become their reason to believe again. You don't have to hide the process. Let your life be proof that grace walks with the wounded. And I'm not just working in your heart, I'm working in your surroundings. I am aligning people, opportunities, doors, even delays, to serve my purpose in your life. What you call setbacks are sometimes strategic pauses. What you call silence is sometimes the sound of me arranging things behind the scenes. Trust me in the unseen. Trust me in the quiet. Trust me when nothing is changing on the surface, because that's often when the deepest roots are forming. I am building your life in such a way that when the blessings come, they will not crush you. They will fit you. You don't need to beg for what I've already promised. You don't need to fear that I've forgotten you just because you don't feel me every day. I am not moved by moods or emotions. I am moved by love, and my love for you is constant. I will never turn my back on you. Even when you wander, even when you struggle, even when you fall into patterns you swore you'd left behind. I don't measure your worth by your performance. I measure it by my purpose for you, and that purpose is still alive. You're not running out of time. You're not too late. You're not too old, too damaged, too far behind. The world operates on pressure and deadlines, but I work through purpose and divine timing. And when it's time, things will happen so suddenly that you'll understand why I made you wait. You'll understand why I closed certain doors, why I let some things fall apart, why I whispered not yet when you were begging for now. Because I wasn't punishing you, I was preparing you. And now you're almost ready. Ready to walk into the fullness of what I've planned. Ready to receive, not just because you want it, but because you're finally able to carry it without losing yourself. This season isn't just about blessing, it's about becoming. Becoming more than what life told you to be. Becoming bold in your love, peaceful in your mind, rooted in your purpose, radiant in your faith. So keep walking, child. Even when the way isn't clear, even when you're tired, even when others don't understand. Your steps are ordered. Your heart is protected. Your story is sacred. And I am with you in every word, every breath, every moment. I never grow weary of loving you, and I never will. My beloved, I want you to pause right here. Not in fear, not in confusion, but in reverence. Because you are standing on holy ground. Not a place made sacred by architecture or tradition, but a place made holy by my presence meeting your pain, my promises meeting your doubts. This moment right now is not ordinary. I have carved it into time for you to breathe again, not just with your lungs, but with your soul. You've been moving for so long that you've forgotten what it means to simply be, to exist without performance, to rest without guilt. But rest is not laziness. Stillness is not weakness. This is where renewal begins. I see how hard you've been trying to hold everything together. The smile you offer others even when your heart is breaking. The words of encouragement you give even when your own voice feels thin with sorrow. I see it. And I am not just watching you. I am weeping with you. Yes, my child, I weep when you weep. I am not a God removed from your reality. I feel the sting of your disappointments, the ache in your silence, the longing you try to suppress. But let me tell you this, nothing in your life has been wasted. Not one moment, not one tear. Every painful season has been forming something eternal in you. You're not just surviving, you're being shaped. Maturity in the spirit often comes wrapped in trials. And though you may not have seen it, each difficulty refined your character. Each unanswered prayer deepened your trust. And each heartbreak hollowed out space for a greater capacity to love. You are not weak because you feel pain. You are not less faithful because you wrestle with questions. In fact, I welcome your questions. I invite your honesty. You don't have to hide your doubts from me. I am not afraid of your uncertainty. My truth is strong enough to carry your searching heart. You've been asking me for direction, for answers, for clarity. And sometimes, because the answer doesn't come the way you expected, you assume I am silent. But I never stop speaking. I just speak in ways that require you to lean in, to slow down, to trust more deeply. Sometimes I speak through closed doors. Sometimes I answer with peace, not explanations. And sometimes I let you walk through the fog not to confuse you, but to teach you that your security doesn't come from seeing the path. It comes from knowing who walks with you on it. There are seasons when I allow the road to be quiet so you'll learn how to recognize my voice in your spirit, not just in your circumstances. And I promise you, my child, you are learning, you are growing. Even if you can't yet see the fruit, the roots are deepening. And I rejoice over that. I rejoice not just in what you do, but in who you are becoming. I know you still stumble. I know there are days when anger or fear or doubt seem to win. But I never loved you because of your victories. I love you because you are mine. Stop being so hard on yourself. You look at your life and see unfinished stories, unfulfilled promises, unanswered prayers. But I see progress. I see resilience. I see a heart that has chosen love again and again, even after being bruised. I see a soul that is being purified not through perfection, but through persistence. Don't measure your faith by your feelings. Faith is not about always being certain. It's about choosing to stay, even when you're unsure. And you've stayed. You're still here. That is faith. That is worship. That is powerful. Let me say this again so it echoes through every shadow of shame you've ever carried. I am not disappointed in you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of the way you've kept going. Proud of the way you've whispered prayers when your heart felt silent. Proud of the way you've dared to believe again, even after so many things tried to steal your hope. The world may not celebrate this kind of faith, but heaven does. I do. You wonder if you'll ever feel whole again. If peace is something meant for others, not for you. But I tell you now, peace is your inheritance. Not a fleeting emotion, but a reality anchored in me. You were never meant to live in pieces, scattered by past wounds and future fears. You were meant to live whole in heart, in purpose, in identity. Wholeness doesn't mean perfection. It means living in harmony with who I created you to be. And you are getting there piece by piece, breath by breath, prayer by prayer. There's a strength in you now that wasn't there before. A quiet, holy strength. Not loud, not flashy, but real. The kind that holds on through the night. The kind that doesn't need the approval of others to know its worth. The kind that radiates peace even in the presence of conflict. I place that in you. It is a mark of my spirit working through your surrendered life. And it's only the beginning. I want you to start expecting good things again. Not because you've earned them, but because you've endured. I'm not promising a life without challenges. I'm promising a life full of meaning, full of divine interruptions, full of moments where you'll look back and realize, that was God. That was grace. Stop bracing for disappointment. Stop waiting for the worst. I want to heal your anticipation. I want to teach your heart how to hope again. The kind of hope that doesn't demand outcomes, but trusts my goodness no matter the result. You've spent too much time punishing yourself for things I've already forgiven. You keep going back to what I've already covered in mercy. Let it go. Let it rest. Walk forward now, not dragging the weight of guilt, but clothed in the lightness of grace. The cross wasn't a symbol of judgment. It was a declaration of your freedom. And that freedom is yours right now. So breathe. Take it in. Let the truth settle into your bones. You are free. Free to move on. Free to forgive. Free to begin again. Free to love without fear. Free to rest without guilt. Free to walk without pretending. Free to believe that I'm not just with you. I'm for you. There are still pages left in your story. Pages that I, the author of all life, am eager to write. So don't close the book. Don't stop turning the pages. The next chapter isn't just better. It's redemptive. And when you look back one day, you'll see that every thread, every wound, every unanswered question led you straight to the heart of the one who never let you go. Come closer now. Lean into this moment with a heart open to receive. You've been listening, wondering if these words are truly meant for you. If this voice that wraps around your soul like a warm wind could really be speaking your name. And I tell you again without hesitation, yes, it is you I'm speaking to. It's always been you. You have not been overlooked in the crowd. You have not slipped through my fingers while I was blessing others. You are not forgotten in the story I've written. You are written into it with purpose, with love, with power. You've spent so much time waiting for a sign that your life matters, that your story counts, that your existence carries weight. And this, right now, is that sign. Not in flashing lights or dramatic moments, but in a still, sacred whisper. You matter to me. I don't love you generally. I love you specifically. Not because of what you can do for me, but because of who you are to me. You are not an accident. You are not a mistake. You are not here just to get through the day, pay the bills, meet expectations, and repeat the same cycle until your time ends. You are here to shine my light, to love with a fire that cannot be quenched, to live fully, not someday, but now. I have placed gifts inside you that this world desperately needs. You may think your talents are too small, too ordinary, but what you call small, I call sacred. Kind word, a steady heart, a gentle hand, a creative mind, a soul that longs to make things better. These are not afterthoughts. These are seeds of change. You were made to build, to comfort, to inspire, to transform the spaces you enter. You may not be loud. You may not stand on platforms, but your presence carries the fragrance of heaven. That quiet strength, that tender voice, that consistent faith. It speaks louder than you know. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for who you are. You were not made to fit into every mold this world hands you. You were made to reflect me. In your words, in your decisions, in your compassion. I didn't place you in this generation by accident. I equipped you with exactly what is needed for this time. When you stand firm in love, when you remain kind in chaos, when you hold on to hope even when the world mocks it, that is how I shine through you. And yes, I know it's been hard. You've questioned if you're making any difference. You've wondered if your voice even matters. But let me tell you what you haven't seen. You haven't seen how someone watched you stay kind when others grew bitter. You haven't seen the way your prayer covered someone you didn't even know was hurting. You haven't seen the lives your quiet courage touched. I see it all. I measure success differently than the world. I don't reward the loudest. I honor the most faithful. And you, my child, have been faithful, even in the silence. Don't believe the lie that your season of impact has passed. There is still so much left for us to do together. The dreams you set aside because life got in the way, I remember them. The desires you buried because disappointment taught you to expect less. I'm digging them up. You're not too old. You're not too broken. You're not too late. My timing is not limited by human calendars. I don't bless on deadlines. I bless in due season. And your season is coming. But hear me clearly. This next chapter is not just about what I'm giving you. It's about who you're becoming. I am not just changing your surroundings. I'm changing your heart. You asked for open doors. I will open them. But I'm also opening your spirit to trust deeper, to see clearer, to love more freely. What's ahead requires a new kind of faith, not one that begs, but one that believes. Not one that fears losing, but one that stands firm in knowing I will provide exactly what is needed, exactly when it's needed. The battles you've fought have not been in vain. They've taught you what can't be learned in comfort. How to persevere, how to love when it costs you, how to rise after falling, how to wait with grace. And now, I'm calling you to carry that strength into the lives of others. You are not just walking toward healing, you are becoming a healer. Not just walking in freedom, but helping others find theirs. That's how my kingdom works. I don't waste a single tear. I use every scar, every lesson, every broken piece to build bridges of mercy and roads of restoration. Your pain will become a platform, not to elevate you above others, but to reach those still trapped in what you've overcome. And don't be afraid of that responsibility. I will give you the words when you need them. I will send you the right people at the right time. I will equip you to walk in love, not in pressure. There is no room for comparison in your calling. Do not look left or right. Do not measure your worth by someone else's stage. Their path is not yours. Their timing is not mine for you. Look up. Stay aligned with me. You're not missing out. You're being set apart. And let me speak to your heart about joy. Yes, joy. That deep, quiet gladness that feels almost foreign to you now. You've gotten used to managing sadness. You've grown strong in sorrow. But I'm reintroducing joy to your life. Not as a fleeting feeling, but as a new foundation. The kind of joy that lives even in grief. the kind that dances in the storm, the kind that says, "Even now God is good." That joy will be your strength. That joy will be your light. That joy will become a testimony of resurrection. So come closer still. You don't have to be afraid of what's coming. You don't have to brace for disappointment anymore. That season has passed. This is the season of building, of renewing, of rising. I will guide you one step at a time. You won't have to run ahead or figure it all out. Just stay close. Let my voice be louder than the noise. Let my peace be greater than the pressure. Let my promises outweigh your past. You are safe with me. You are growing. You are becoming. And nothing, not fear, not failure, not time, not the enemy, can stop what I have planned for you. So breathe deep, child. Lift your eyes. We are just getting started. You're still with me, and that says more than you realize. In a world that constantly pulls you away, distracts you with noise, and tempts you to give up on what cannot be seen, the fact that your heart is still listening matters. You could have walked away. You could have silenced this voice. But something within you, perhaps a longing you can't quite name, has kept you leaning in. That is no accident. That is my spirit drawing you deeper, inviting you into something far more powerful than comfort. I'm inviting you into transformation, and not the kind of transformation the world understands. Not a quick fix, not a change of scenery, not a shallow rebranding of your life. I'm talking about a transformation of the soul, a holy unraveling and remaking, where every layer that fear built gets gently stripped away, and what's left is the true you, the one I've always seen. You've tried so hard to hold yourself together, but I don't need you to be composed. I need you to be real. You don't need to be impressive. You just need to be honest. Your vulnerability doesn't scare me. Your questions don't offend me. Your moments of doubt don't drive me away. They actually draw me closer, because I am not interested in who you pretend to be. I am fully committed to the real you, the one behind the mask, the one that hides when no one is watching, the one who still feels like they're not enough, not ready, not whole. And I say to you now, you are enough for me, not because you've done everything right, not because you've said every prayer, followed every rule, or lived without flaws, but because you belong to me. My love for you is not a reaction to your perfection. It is the foundation that holds you up when everything else collapses. I don't change my mind about you when you make mistakes. My love is not based on your performance. It's based on my promise. And I keep my promises. You've asked me to show you the way. You've begged for signs, for clarity, for some confirmation that you're not walking this road alone. So let me confirm it now. You are not alone. Even in the confusion, even in the delay, even when the silence is deafening, you have never been abandoned. I walk with you through every room, every relationship, every moment of questioning. I am not waiting at the finish line. I am in every step of the process. There are things you've walked through that few people know about, wounds you've hidden, stories you've never fully told. But I know every detail, and I'm not ashamed of your story. I'm redeeming it. You thought those chapters disqualified you. I'm telling you they're the very chapters I'll use to bring healing to others. What once brought you shame will become a source of strength. What once held you hostage will become a door to your freedom, and the freedom of many. That's why I've been so patient with you. That's why I've stayed close, even when you tried to push me away. I've never been looking for perfection. I've been waiting for your permission. The moment you give me full access to every part of your heart, even the parts you've tried to keep locked away, is the moment transformation begins. Not because you become someone new, but because you finally become who you truly are in me. You've believed for too long that you had to fix yourself first, that you had to become holy before you could come close. But I don't need you to be finished. I need you to be willing. I meet you where you are, not where you pretend to be. And in that space of surrender, I begin to rebuild. Gently, tenderly, thoroughly, not rushing you but walking with you, guiding every step. I know how to hold what's fragile. I know how to restore what's been shattered. I know how to speak life where silence once lived. And now I want to shift how you see yourself. For too long, you've carried labels that weren't mine. Words that were spoken over you in anger. Judgments made by those who never knew your heart. Expectations placed on you that crushed rather than lifted. But those voices are not the final authority. I am, and what I speak over you is this. You are my child, my joy, my masterpiece. You are not too far behind. You are not too late. You are not too damaged. I am still writing your story, and I never leave a story unfinished. The pages ahead are filled with restoration, with purpose, with laughter that will rise from places once covered in sorrow. There will be new beginnings, not because you deserve them, but because I delight in giving good gifts to those who trust me. And you, whether you know it or not, are beginning to trust me again. That's what this is. Every moment you've spent reading, every pause to reflect, every tug at your heart, that's trust being rebuilt. And I will honor that. I will respond to it. I am not a passive observer of your pain. I am an active redeemer. What the enemy meant for destruction, I am turning into destiny. Every time you thought you were buried, I was actually planting you. And the harvest will come. It's time to see yourself the way I see you. Not as a collection of failures, but as a vessel of promise. Not as someone barely surviving, but as someone called to thrive. And no, this transformation won't always feel easy. There will be resistance internally and externally. The world doesn't understand the beauty of surrender. But I do. I honor it. I bless it. I use it to build unshakable foundations. And that's what we're building now. So do not be afraid of change. Don't fear what's shifting. I am not taking things away to harm you. I am making space for what's better. Let go of the illusion of control. Lay down the need to have it all figured out. And take my hand. Let me lead you, day by day, breath by breath, moment by moment. You won't always know where we're going, but you will always know who you're with. I am here, and I'm not leaving, no matter what. Stay here a little longer. Let these words wash over you like rain after a long drought. Let your heart breathe again, not under the weight of expectation, but in the presence of grace. You've been holding so much, silently and faithfully, while the world rushes around you. But here, in this sacred stillness, I'm inviting you to lay it all down. The pressure, the fear, the guilt, the doubts that wake you at night. You don't need to pretend anymore. Not with me. I don't need you to be perfect. I just want you to be honest. I see the tension behind your eyes, the way you move through life with quiet strength that no one applauds. I see the moments you've said, "I'm fine," when you weren't. I've seen the way you've poured yourself into others, offering encouragement and light, while secretly wondering who will do the same for you. And I want you to know this, I will. I already am. I am the one who lifts your head when it's heavy with disappointment. I am the one who speaks peace into your racing thoughts. I am the one who sees every unseen act of kindness and every quiet prayer you've whispered in the dark. You've come far, farther than you give yourself credit for. There were seasons that almost broke you, days when you couldn't see a way out, nights when you cried until your soul felt hollow. But look at you, you're still here, not because it was easy, but because something in you refused to give up. That something was my spirit within you, keeping your hope alive when everything else went dark. I've been walking with you every step of the way, not just beside you, but within you, breathing strength into the places where you felt weakest. I know it's hard to believe sometimes. I know how life can convince you that you're forgotten, overlooked, unworthy of the kind of love you long for. But I never stopped loving you. Even when you doubted me, even when you ran from me, even when you questioned everything I said, I still stayed. My love doesn't retreat when you're afraid. It moves closer. It leans in. It reminds you that you're not defined by your fear, your failure, or your past. You are defined by my grace, my truth, and my relentless pursuit of your heart. And yes, I've pursued you, not because I needed to be needed, but because I created you for love, real love, not earned, not performed, not withheld. You were not made to live for approval. You were made to live from identity. The moment you realize you are already loved, already chosen, already enough, that is when everything begins to change. That is when freedom begins to bloom where shame once lived. That is when you begin to walk, not in the shadow of what others expect, but in the light of who I say you are. Let's talk about strength, your strength. The world has its own definition of what that means, and you've been trying to match it. But my version is different. True strength isn't loud. It's not about hiding your pain or pretending to have it all together. Real strength is the courage to be honest about where you are and still choose to move forward. It's waking up on the hard days and showing up with whatever faith you have left. It's choosing kindness when bitterness would be easier. It's holding on to hope, not because everything is perfect, but because you believe I am present in the imperfection. You may feel tired, and I understand that. I know what it costs to keep hoping when the world seems to push back against your joy. But you're not alone in this weariness. I am your refuge. I am the place you come to when the world no longer makes sense. You can rest in me without shame. You can fall into my arms without explanation. I'm not disappointed in your exhaustion. I'm offering you rest. Not just rest for your body, but rest for your soul. That deep kind of rest that reminds you. You are safe, you are held, you are home. And while you rest, I am working. You may not see it yet, but I am rebuilding what was broken, healing what was hurting, aligning what felt out of place. I don't rush the process, but I never abandon it either. What I start, I finish. And I have started something in you. A quiet transformation, a sacred awakening. It's happening now, even as you read these words. Even in your stillness, I am stirring something deep within you. A readiness to rise, a readiness to believe again. You've wondered if you'll ever get back what was lost. But I want you to know, I don't just restore, I multiply. What you thought was gone forever is not beyond my reach. What you thought was over may only be beginning. I don't work within the limits of what you see. I work within the truth of who I am, and I am a God of redemption. I will give beauty for the ashes you thought would bury you. I will pour joy into the cracked sorrow left behind, and I will breathe new purpose into dreams you laid down in disappointment. Don't be afraid of starting again. Don't fear being seen as vulnerable, uncertain, or in process. I honor the process. I bless the beginning. I delight in every step you take back toward joy, peace, wholeness. This is not about achieving some perfect version of yourself. This is about becoming fully alive in my love. This is about walking with me, not in fear of what might go wrong, but in faith that I am making all things right, in time, in truth, in you. Let go of the timeline. Release the pressure to have it all figured out. I'm not in a rush. I'm here for the long journey, the steady walk, the slow, holy unfolding. You don't have to strive to stay in my favor. You already have it. All I ask is that you stay with me, in the joy and in the pain, in the questions and in the praise. Stay close, stay real, stay open, because the best is still ahead. You haven't missed your moment. You haven't messed up too much. You haven't lost your value. I still have plans for you, plans to restore, to build, to elevate, to shine. And nothing can stop it. Not even the parts of you that still feel uncertain. My grace fills the gaps. My strength covers the cracks. My love never runs dry. So come, keep walking, keep trusting, keep surrendering one breath at a time. We're not finished yet. In fact, we're only just beginning. You've stayed with me this far, and that means your heart is softening again. That quiet longing you feel, that ache that pulses through your chest when everything else goes still, that is the echo of my spirit calling you closer. You are not wandering aimlessly through life. You are being drawn, step by step, into a deeper awareness of who I am and who you are in me. You don't have to rush to understand it all. You don't have to figure everything out. All you need to do now is stay open, stay willing, stay close. I'll do the rest. There's something I need you to believe, not just with your mind, but with your whole being. You were created on purpose, for purpose. This world has tried to define you by labels that do not belong to you. It has tried to name you with words like, not enough, too broken, too late, too much. But I call you by a different name. I call you mine. I call you beloved. I call you chosen. And when I speak, my words do not return empty. They reshape reality. So let me speak into your identity again. You are not here by coincidence. You were knit together in love with intention. Every detail of your being, every trait that makes you unique, it was all designed by me. Your voice, your presence, your passions, your instincts, they were not randomly assigned. They were handcrafted to match the calling I placed on your life. Even the things you consider flaws have purpose. Even the weaknesses you try to hide are areas I long to fill with my strength. Stop disqualifying yourself from the life I'm calling you into. I've never asked you to be perfect. I've asked you to be present. I'm not waiting for a better version of you. I'm walking with the real you, right here, right now. And with each step, I'm showing you that your life is more significant than you've ever imagined. You are part of something eternal, something that won't fade when the applause stops or when the pain returns. You are part of a kingdom that cannot be shaken, and your place in it is secure. I know it's hard to believe sometimes, especially when all you see are broken pieces. But I am the master of mosaics. I know how to take the shattered glass of your past and craft something radiant from it. I don't erase your story, I redeem it. I don't pretend the pain never happened. I use it as the foundation for healing. You keep trying to erase chapters you regret, but I'm using those very pages to write a testimony that will echo far beyond your lifetime. You've been asking me for direction. You want clarity, a map, a guarantee that you won't fall again. But I don't give you a blueprint. I give you my presence. I don't hand you a list of instructions. I invite you into relationship. If I gave you all the answers at once, you might forget to hold my hand. But when you walk with me one step at a time, you begin to realize that knowing me is better than knowing what's next. You don't have to be afraid of the future anymore. You've survived so much already. You've walked through storms that should have crushed you, endured seasons that almost silenced you, and still you're here. And not just breathing, but growing. Still searching. Still believing in something greater. That is proof of the strength I've placed within you. It is not by accident. It is not luck. It is my grace, keeping you, shaping you, sustaining you. And now, I'm leading you into a new season. Not just one of blessing, but of becoming. I'm not just giving you what you asked for. I'm preparing you to carry it well. The things I have planned for you require more than surface faith. They require deep trust. They require a heart that knows who it belongs to. So I'm slowing you down, not to punish you, but to prepare you. I'm doing a deeper work, one that doesn't always show on the outside but changes everything on the inside. Don't resist the process. Growth can be uncomfortable. Healing can feel like breaking before it feels like mending. But I am not asking you to go through it alone. I am in every part of it, the stillness, the stretching, the surrender. And I'm not just working on you, I'm working through you. Even now, in your unfinished, unpolished state, your life is shining with light others can see. Your quiet faith is inspiring those who've given up. Your presence is more powerful than you realize. You may not be where you want to be yet, but you're no longer where you used to be. That's progress. Celebrate that. Every small step of faith counts. Every choice to show up when it's easier to hide. Every time you pray when answers feel far. That's what strength looks like. That's what faithfulness is. And I honor it even when no one else sees it. Because I see the heart behind it. And it is beautiful to me. Stop measuring your life by how quickly you move or how visible your success is. My ways are not the world's ways. I am doing something slow and sacred. Something that builds legacy, not just moments. Something that carries eternal weight, not just temporary applause. What I'm building in you will last, and what I restore in you will overflow into generations. So let your heart hope again, not with the desperate grasp of fear, but with the quiet strength of trust. I know what I'm doing. I know what you've lost. I know what you've prayed for. I know the timing that will bring the most joy. Nothing you've surrendered has been overlooked. Every sacrifice, every act of obedience, every step of faith, it's all being woven together into something more beautiful than you can see right now. Stay with me. Keep walking. Don't give up on what you've barely begun to understand. Your life is not a mistake, not a mess, not too late. It is a miracle in progress. And the best parts, The parts that will make you weep with gratitude and awe are still to come. I am the God who finishes what he starts. And I have not stopped working in you. Not for a moment. You're still here. You're still listening. That matters. Because every time you choose to stay with me, through the confusion, through the delay, through the waiting, that's faith. And faith, my child, doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just a whisper in your soul saying, I'll trust you. Even now, that whisper carries weight in the kingdom. That kind of trust moves mountains others can't even see. I don't measure your faith by how strong you look. I measure it by how often you return to me when you're tired, when you're empty, when you have nothing left to give but your presence. Let me tell you something that will quiet the chaos you've been carrying. You don't have to prove anything to me. Not your strength, not your goodness, not your worth. You are already seen, already loved, already chosen. My love for you is not a reward for your performance. It's the foundation beneath your feet. When you fall, it's still there. When you rise, it remains. When you doubt, when you drift, when you ache with questions, I don't retreat. I stay. I hold steady when everything else trembles. You've believed for too long that my approval must be earned. But let me set you free from that weight. I already approve of you. Not because you've done everything right, but because I created you for relationship, not perfection. I'm not watching you with a checklist in hand. I'm watching with compassion. I see your heart before I see your habits. I see your desire to please me, even when your follow-through is flawed. I see the tears you cry over the things you wish you could change. And I want you to know, I'm not disappointed. I'm here to heal. I am not like those who walked away when you weren't who they expected. I am not like those who turned their love off when you made mistakes. I don't love you less when you're messy. I don't withdraw when you fail. I draw nearer. That's what makes my love different from any love you've known. It's not conditional. It's not fragile. It's not intimidated by your brokenness. It's relentless. It stays. It restores. It resurrects. And I know what needs resurrection in your life right now. I know the places where you've lost hope. Not because you gave up on me, but because life wore you down. I've seen how disappointment settled like dust over the dreams you once prayed for with fire. But hear this, I have not forgotten. Not the prayers. Not the promises. Not the passion that once lit your eyes. I remember it all, and I intend to bring it back to life. Not in the way you imagined, but in the way that will bless you deeper than you knew to ask for. Trust me with the dreams you buried. Trust me with the hopes you stopped speaking out loud. I know why you let them go. You were tired. Tired of waiting. Tired of hoping. Tired of being let down. But I never grow tired. And what I've spoken over you hasn't expired. My word does not return void. It always accomplishes what I send it to do. Even if it takes time. Even if it requires a journey through wilderness before reaching the promise. You may not understand why I've allowed certain delays. You may never fully grasp why certain doors closed or certain people left. But know this, every ending I allow carries within it the seed of something new. Something better. Something designed specifically for your growth. I never remove without the intention to replace with greater purpose. So don't let bitterness take root. Don't let regret be the story you cling to. There's still more to be written. And I write in redemption ink. I want you to stop seeing yourself as behind. Stop believing the lie that you've missed too many chances. I work outside of time. I restore years. I accelerate what man says is impossible. What looks like lost time to you is preparation in my hands. You've been growing in silence, strengthening in shadows, maturing in moments no one applauded. And now you are not who you were. You are wiser. You are stronger. You are more aware of what matters. You are ready for what's next, even if you don't feel like it yet. And what's next is not just about what I will give you. It's about what I will do through you. You've asked me to bless you, but I also want to bless others through you. You've asked me to heal you, but your healing will bring healing to others too. I want to use your story, your scars, your victories, even your battles, as a lighthouse for those still lost at sea. You are not just a recipient of grace. You are a carrier of it. So let me show you what it means to live boldly, not with arrogance but with assurance, not with fear of falling, but with faith that even if you do, I will catch you. I am calling you to live fully alive, not bound by old narratives, not defined by past wounds, not chained to fear of failure. You are free, truly free, and that freedom is meant to lead you forward, not just into blessing, but into impact. People are watching you not to judge, but to learn. Your life is speaking, even when you say nothing. The way you love, the way you keep going, the way you forgive, it matters more than you know. Don't underestimate the influence of your quiet faith. Don't downplay the power of your consistency. This world is not changed by grand gestures. It's changed by everyday faithfulness. And you, beloved, are changing more than you realize. So lift your head, shake off the shame, walk forward with the knowing that I am with you not just occasionally, but constantly. My spirit is within you. My hand is upon you. My voice is guiding you, even when you only hear a whisper. And my plan for you? The still in motion, the still good, the still unfolding. Take the next step. I don't need you to see the whole path. I just need you to walk with me. I will give you what you need when you need it. Strength for today, peace for tonight, hope for tomorrow, and joy, yes, even joy, that rises again like the morning sun. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not disqualified. You are mine, and I am not finished with you. You're so much closer than you think. I know it doesn't always feel that way. I know there are days when the distance between where you are and where you hope to be feels like a canyon. But trust me, what you feel is not always what is true. Your breakthrough is not measured by emotion, and your progress is not defined by visibility. Some of your greatest growth is happening beneath the surface, in silence, in surrender. And in those places where no one else sees, I am working the deepest. You've been faithful in the unseen. You've prayed when there was no answer. You've loved when it wasn't returned. You've kept walking when your heart begged you to stop. That kind of obedience carries weight in heaven. You may not have been recognized by the world, but I've been watching, and I've been preparing something so personal, so purposeful, that when it arrives, you'll understand why it had to take this long. I've not been withholding, I've been aligning. Aligning your heart, your relationships, your desires, and your calling. Not a second has been wasted. You've been in a refining season, not because I wanted to test your worth, but because I wanted to reveal your strength. There were things in your life that couldn't go with you where I'm taking you. Habits, mindsets, attachments, even some relationships. Letting go hasn't been easy. It's felt like loss. But trust me, every release was making space for something greater. You can't carry the weight of destiny and the weight of old wounds at the same time. One had to be laid down, and you chose well. You've asked me why it had to hurt, why healing felt so much like breaking. But real healing is never shallow. It doesn't just soothe the surface, it digs deep to the roots, confronts lies, it unmasks fear, it shines light into the places you were afraid to look. And that's what I've been doing, reaching into the depths, not to wound you, but to free you. I care more about your wholeness than your comfort. And because of that, I allowed the process. But I never left you in it. I was holding your hand the whole time. Now, something new is being birthed in you. A new level of faith. A new understanding of love. A new boldness to walk in truth, even when it costs you. This is not the same version of you who entered the valley. You've been changed, softened, strengthened, humbled, awakened. You no longer just believe because it's what you were taught. You believe because you've lived it. You've encountered me, not in theory, but in experience. Not through borrowed words, but through personal moments. And those moments, they're what make you unshakable. Don't minimize what you've been through. Don't rush to move on just so life looks presentable again. Let the process finish its work. Let the transformation take root. You're not just surviving anymore. You're being shaped into a vessel of hope. One that can carry love into broken places. One that can speak life into dry bones. One that can show others that resurrection is more than a promise. It's a reality. You are the evidence that I restore, that I rebuild, that I take ashes and breathe beauty into them. And your story, yes, your story, is becoming a message someone else desperately needs. That's why I've preserved you. That's why I've protected you. Because your voice carries healing, not in perfection, but in truth. In the scars you no longer hide. In the faith you've reclaimed. In the peace you've found, not because everything's easy, but because you've learned how to rest in me even when it's not. Let me remind you, you're not responsible for the outcome. You're responsible for your obedience. You don't have to make everything work. You don't have to manipulate results. Just say yes to the next step. That's all I ask. One obedient step at a time. That's how we move together. That's how you walk into your calling, not through striving, but through surrender. And as you walk, I will continue to be your strength. I will continue to make a way. There will still be moments that challenge your faith. But those moments are invitations, not to panic, but to press in. Not to run, but to rest. Not to fear, but to remember. Remember who you are. Remember what I've already done. Remember that nothing is too hard for me. Not even the things that still feel impossible. Especially not those. I have not brought you this far to abandon you. I have not healed you this much just to leave the final pieces scattered. I am completing what I started. And when I finish something, it is good. It is whole. It is holy. So stay with me, even when the road feels long. Even when the light feels dim. Even when your steps feel small. Stay close, because the closer you stay, the clearer the vision becomes. And you will see it soon enough, how I've been weaving things together. How I've used even the detours to bring you into alignment. How every heartbreak, every unanswered prayer, every delayed promise carried something eternal inside it. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Even the pain is repurposed. You are not behind. You are not stuck. You are not forgotten. You are right where you need to be for what I'm preparing next. And when that moment arrives, it won't be a sudden miracle. It'll be the revealing of what's been growing all along. Quietly, steadily, faithfully. So breathe deeply. Release the pressure. Let peace fill the spaces where anxiety once lived. Let joy find its way back into your thoughts. Let hope anchor your soul, not in what you can control, but in who I am. Because I haven't changed, and I won't start now. Your story is not over. Your promise is not dead. Your breakthrough is not behind you. The best is not lost. The best is becoming. It's forming. It's rising. And so are you. Look at how far you've come. You may not have seen it clearly along the way, but now I invite you to pause, to breathe, to look back not with regret, but with awe. This journey, with all its turns and trials, has not led you off course. It has led you home to me. And in finding me, you've begun to rediscover yourself. Not the self shaped by fear or failure, not the self broken down by expectation or comparison, but the self I created before time began. The one I formed in secret, the one I've always known and always loved. There's something sacred in what you've endured. You may have seen the pain as a punishment, but I used it as preparation. I took the very things meant to destroy you and transformed them into tools of grace. And now you are stronger not just outwardly but inwardly. You've learned how to lean, how to surrender, how to receive. You've discovered a kind of peace the world cannot give and a kind of love it cannot take away. That's what makes your story powerful. Not that it was easy, but that you never stopped walking, even when the path was unclear, even when you felt unworthy to take another step. You are worthy, not because of what you've done, but because of who you are. You are my child, my beloved, my masterpiece. I knit you together with care, with intention, with purpose. And that purpose still stands. It has not been canceled by delay. It has not been erased by failure. It has not been weakened by age, fear, or time. What I've spoken over you remains. My calling is irrevocable. And now you are stepping into the fullness of it. Not as someone who has it all figured out, but as someone who has learned to trust. Trust me with what comes next. You don't need a detailed plan. You don't need every answer in advance. What you need is what you've already begun to carry, faith. Faith that I will go before you. Faith that I will equip you. Faith that I will hold you through whatever unfolds. Your future is not fragile in my hands. It is secure. and so are you. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into a story already written with love, grace, and divine precision. Let me remind you now of what you've gained, not just what you've lost. You've gained wisdom, the kind that isn't taught in books but forged in silence and surrender. You've gained compassion, the kind that only grows through heartbreak and healing. You've gained courage, the kind that rises not in absence of fear, but in defiance of it. You've gained resilience, the kind that doesn't crumble under pressure but learns to bend and bloom. These are not accidental traits. They are the markings of someone who has walked with me. And now, I'm asking you to walk in confidence. Not confidence in yourself alone, but confidence in who I am in you. Walk boldly, speak boldly, love boldly. Your life is no longer about playing it safe. It's about stepping into spaces others are afraid to enter and bringing light there. It's about living as proof that healing is possible, that restoration is real, that grace works. You don't need a platform. You don't need applause. You just need to show up with open hands, with a ready heart, with a willingness to say yes. There will still be challenges ahead. Life will not always be easy. But now you are different. You are anchored. You are rooted. You are awake to truth in a way you weren't before. And that truth will carry you. When the winds of change blow, you will not be shaken. When voices of doubt rise, you will not be moved. You will stand, not because of your own strength, but because you have learned to rest in mine. I will be your source, not just when you feel strong, but especially when you feel weak. I will be your guide, not just when the path is clear, but when it disappears altogether. I will be your peace, not only when life is calm, but when the storms rage again. My presence will go with you, and my presence is enough. It has always been enough, and now you are beginning to believe that, not just with your words, but with your life. What happens next will not be the end of the story. It will be the continuation of something sacred, something holy, something eternal. You were made for this generation, for this moment, for such a time as this. You were not placed here to simply exist. You were placed here to awaken, to love, to shine, to pour out what I have poured in. And you don't have to wait for a better time. You don't need to get everything in order. You just need to begin right here, right now, with what you have, with who you are. And as you begin, I will go ahead of you. I will open the right doors. I will protect you from the wrong ones. I will connect you with people whose hearts are aligned with mine. I will speak when you need words. I will strengthen you when you are weary. I will celebrate every step forward with joy, because I am not distant from your journey. I am in it. I always have been, and I always will be. So look up. The shadows have no hold on you anymore. The shame no longer owns your story. The fear no longer gets the final word. Grace has rewritten your life. Love has reclaimed your identity. And truth is your new language. You are not the same. You are free. You are healed. You are whole. Now walk forward, not with hesitation, but with holy confidence. Let the world see what redemption looks like. Let your life speak without shouting. Let your quiet peace become a roar in a world filled with noise. You are the light because I am the light within you. You are the message because I have made your life a living letter of grace. You are the miracle not because of what you've done, but because of what I've done in you. This is just the beginning, and what's ahead is beautiful.
If something inside you felt seen, known, or comforted today, don't brush it off. That was more than a feeling. That was God reaching into your life, reminding you that your journey is not forgotten. Your prayers are not lost, and your story is far from over. Let this message stay with you. Let it shape your days. And remember, you are not walking alone. His voice will keep calling. His presence will keep leading, and His love, unchanging and eternal, will always, always find you. Until next time, stay rooted in grace.